Okay, so we've got the national tournament. We've got TaToH and Poxo going at it here on what looks to be Arabia to me. Yeah, it is Arabia. What do you know? I've seen this map before. We will see Poxo in the orange, but for the sake of this game, we'll turn team colors on, and we'll also turn the chat off. I'm Killer B. If you guys haven't been on the channel before, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Kind of a chill stream here. I just kind of like to watch and try to learn a little bit from these pro players as they play this beautiful game, Age of Empires 2: The Conquerors. You knew the name of the game. Anyway, for the moment, we've got maybe a pause in the game. Seems like a little bit of hiccuping in the start. We'll see TaToH on the left of the map. It is a Huns war on Arabia. 3 villagers on the wood line for the moment. I'm interested to see where the 4th villager goes. She is going where she goes. She's going to go out and grab the boar. Okay, so TaToH here maybe thinking about the Huns meta, maybe thinking about a decent feudal time. His gold and stone are in the back corner. He's got the ability to wall this part of the map in if he wants to. It's going to take a bit of work, but in general, I think it's a decent map for gold and stone. Wood is kind of, it's mediocre. This wood line is kind of far from the TC. This forward wood line on the downhill slope, a tower here would just be absolutely devastating. So it's not a great map from TaToH, but I think it's a pretty decent one. It's manageable. Backberries is okay, and this gold location is nice. Poxo will be taking on TaToH, and he's going to be in the red trunks here. 3 villagers on wood at the moment, so no drush from him either. Poxo's map is probably not as good as TaToH's. He's got a back wood line. He's got back stone. But as far as defending this, he's going to have to do a little bit more work. Has some awkward hills that his opponent could camp out on top of. Gold here on the front is kind of out in no man's land. Again, a hill right in front of that area. You could foresee defending this map, but at least for the initial push, which might be scouts, it would be a little tricky. The wood line, the berries, pretty far from each other. But we'll see. We'll see how this game develops. Poxo, I would say Poxo's map is not quite as good, but I suppose you could tell me your opinion in the chat. I've fun watching you, says Gloken. Hey, Gloken, good to see you, buddy. Gloken's here. Yeah, I like having Gloken around. Always makes things a little bit more interesting. Anyway, red player here pushing some deer at the moment has a little bit of map view. I'm assuming that he has his sheep, and I'm too lazy to actually check. On the other side, we see TaToH pushing a couple deer as well, so they're getting a little extra food economy going. Pushing those deer is huge. If you guys are out there playing AOC and you're not comfortable pushing deer, you gotta start practicing that. I mean, it's not that hard. You can do it, especially if your deer patch is not obscured by anything. In this case, it's a straight line between the deer and the TC. It's just so much free food. 140 food. You don't have to build a farm to get it. Anyway, I've said enough. I'm going to just harp on pushing deer. This is the deer pushing channel. Anyway, for the moment, we see TaToH still with just 3 villagers on wood, powering through his food economy. 20 villagers at the moment. Just now finding the last couple sheep, sending those toward the TC. And TaToH here has actually done a nice job to scout the entire back pocket. I think he can eventually protect this entire quadrant of the map with a couple of walls and maybe a TC. But that remains to be seen. We'll see how TaToH decides to play it. He is the pro after all. Feudal Age coming in for TaToH, who's going to do it with Loom on 20 villagers. Poxo, on the other hand, will go up on 21 with Loom as well. 21 villas for Poxo. That's kind of the normal number that you see. TaToH here, maybe cutting a couple corners, going to have a little bit less of a wood economy, but I think it's not going to matter. TaToH will eventually recover on wood, and he'll have enough wood to build a barracks and to build a stable right after that. I have to believe that TaToH has this measured out. These couple vills coming forward, I think, to drop a barracks. Welcome to the channel, Joe Store, Revoof, Gafflespoon, Candle Juice, Iman Bew, Crowdor, Ariok, Etzor, and thanks to Nilly for the host. Sorry about missing all of those alerts, guys. My alert is bugged right now. It's thanking one follower constantly, like over and over and over forever. So I had to turn it off for a minute, but welcome to the channel. It's Killer B. We're watching a 1v1 in the Tournament Nacional. Poxo and TaToH going at it here. A couple of players from Spain, and they are going to see who is the better player. Let's see. TaToH right now gets up first, as we said, on 20 villagers. He's immediately going to add a stable with 2 villagers. Reason for that is to stop this scout from denying it. We've got 4 vills on wood on one side, 5 on the other. TaToH's eco is going to be a little bit, I don't want to say rickety, but non-meta. Usually you go up on 21 vills. TaToH went up a little early. He's going to have a couple of seconds before his opponent gets those scouts out to maybe start running across the map. You can see that this building, see that X? That is the rally point for that building. He's headed straight to the berries. Poxo is going to be ready and send a spearman there right away. Second spearman will go on the back. But TaToH is going to send a spear of his own. This is a common tactic you see pro players use. They send this spear across the map when they're on the offensive because this spearman can neutralize this spearman, and then your scouts can go wreak havoc. Anyway, we'll see how the micro goes. Initially, it looks like TaToH is just going to get in time with his spear to take on this spearman here of Poxo. Second spearman coming from TaToH as well, and he will now pull that unit away just enough maybe to get these blue scouts in. 3 scouts now for TaToH, all on decent HP, and it looks like they should be able to run into the berries here in a moment. Poxo's probably building another spear, I would think, but for now, yeah, there's another spear coming in. For now, it is going to be 4 villagers having to push this away for the moment. Oh no, this Vill, oh, that's got to be a misclick. Poxo's not going to lose her, but that's a bummer. She went out way over her skis, way past her limits. 4 scouts for TaToH, only 3 for Poxo. Pox for the moment is going to have to go back. And it's a little bit of a weird early micro war. It's spearmen fighting spearmen and scouts fighting scouts. TaToH with a little bit more early aggression. He's across the map faster than his opponent. But by no means has he delivered any haymakers. I think at the moment it's a pretty darn close match. Total villagers is 28 for each player. Militaries are similar in size. Looks like TaToH got a poke in there while I was looking at the villager counts. A little bit of idle time. I'd say TaToH here is doing a good job to make his opponent think a little bit harder than he's having to think. Coming forward like this is not that stressful, but having your eco basically hanging in the balance is kind of an annoying situation to be in. So for the moment, we will watch Poxo boom up on this back wood line, which is looking a lot less good to me now than it was a minute ago. A couple spears there from TaToH are going to continue to try to annoy. Scouts are roaming on the top side, and it's all defense for the red player. It's all offense for Mr. TaToH, who's not really walling yet, but eventually, if TaToH wants to, he can close his side pretty nicely. TaToH sending some vills over to gold, going to start transitioning into an economy that will allow him to get up to Castle Age. Looks like the red player here will push TaToH away for now, but this retreat, I think, is not going to be long-lived. Eventually, these scouts will probably roam back in. At the moment, Poxo's kind of keeping these scouts hostage because if his scouts go to TaToH's base, TaToH wants to be able to chase them. 4 scouts for each player. At the moment, no bloodlines or defense upgrades. Both guys are, they're pumping out a couple of spears, a couple of scouts. I wouldn't say they're all in, balls to the wall with military, but they are continuing to crank out units. TaToH's got a couple more spears here on the berries here of Poxo, keeping those villagers busy. Yeah, this spear's going to die, but he's idling some vills, which is kind of nice. Keeping Poxo really working hard to keep his economy safe. Scouts from TaToH, looks like there's 6 of them, 7 of them on this part of the map. Poxo doesn't have nearly as many. Total resources are really similar, and Poxo right now is starting to look like he's got his hands a bit too full. He's a little bit out over his skis in this match. TaToH is, yeah, I'd say TaToH is the better player here, and it's going to be really difficult for Poxo to keep up. Just really getting pressured by his opponent. 15 military for TaToH. Pox at the moment with 150 food, 50 gold. TaToH's got 200 food, 100 gold. So not only the bigger military for the blue player, but also the better economy at the moment. TaToH's +1 vills. But we'll see. We'll see. There is still a lot of game to be played here. Poxo is farming like an absolute madman. He does want to get up his economy to the Castle Age in not too long of a time. But those farmers are still being annoyed and idled by a couple spears. TaToH on the top side will go wheelbarrow for the moment. Neither player putting any upgrades onto their scouts. And a second stable now coming for TaToH. Bloodlines is on the way. There we go. It's about time. I shouldn't say it like, oh, it should have been faster. But TaToH taking a little bit of gold. He did not drop a mining camp. But in the end, he will go bloodlines on these scouts. Has to keep them alive until that comes in. And now they are, yeah, they're kind of OP. They're not going to be so afraid of these spearmen. Should be able to run in pretty nicely. A lot of these are on pretty low HP. But in general, this should be TaToH's game to stay on the offensive now that he's got the Bloodlines in. Resources for TaToH. He's got a little bit of wood, and that's about it. Has his initial stone. Looks like Poxo's got a lot more food. He's built fewer scouts, but he has built more spears by the looks of it. TaToH roaming around the backside, and oh god, this is not going to go well. Oh boy. That is, I don't know, 10 Bloodline scouts all up in your back wood line. See how many villagers go down here. This villager is going to die to a downhill hit. Another villager there. That's 2. Looks like we will see a 3rd villager here. Pox is going to have to come back and try to deal with this. TaToH is not quite going to get sandwiched in the corner. Almost got sandwiched. Still has 1 scout on the other side who did grab another vill. And yeah, the blue player here is just really overwhelming his opponent. Pox has a couple spears. He can defend this, but unfortunately they're all clustered out here on the front gold. TaToH just with a wonderful scout rush here early will be 4 villagers ahead. Bloodlines is now coming for Pox, who's going to have 300 food, 50 gold. TaToH's got nothing in the bank right now. He's going foraging. This is a pretty damn intense feudal push. This is a feudal push that I really don't think many people could sustain. You are certainly going to need to be a very high-level pro player on such an open map to be able to deal with all of these scouts. TaToH microing pretty nicely here. Looks like Poxo will get the hill, but TaToH's bringing in spears. May not have identified that his opponent went Bloodlines yet, but in the end, it does look like Poxo's still going to be hanging around defending his own base for a little while longer. This is a all-offense game from TaToH, who still hasn't done anything like walling back at home. Why bother? There's no need to. He hasn't been pressured at all. TaToH still has not gone to gold. He's going to add in a 4th stable now. Oh, sweet Jesus. 4th stable. Hey, Revoof, thank you so much for the donation. I really apologize that it did not play the sound. Like I said, Twitch Alerts is bugged, but I appreciate you saying thanks for the very enjoyable cast. Welcome to the channel. Thanks to the follows for Pazazzi, Mindscretion, Joester, Kyrina, and Take 4. I might have missed a few, but I'm doing my best here, guys. Unfortunately, the technology is failing me. TaToH still keeping the pressure on. +1/+1 on his scouts. His opponent has gone with +1 defense, but not +1 damage. Poxo's foraging coming in very soon. Foraging will be in soon. Of course, that will make these spears a little bit stronger too. Definitely will help a lot with countering all these scouts, but oh my god, look at how many scouts TaToH has. TaToH is just sending in scouts like a madman. We're finally going to see Poxo go forward and do a little bit of damage, we hope. Question is how much. There's only 3 spearmen at the moment for TaToH, so he is going to be open to some raiding. But yeah, TaToH is a troller boy indeed. I think you're right. You look, TaToH here is doing a little bit of trolling. It's, you know, it's working pretty well. The villager count is equal. He's keeping his opponent invested in a feudal war, and he seems to be in good shape. But now all of a sudden, villager count is equal. Military counts aren't that huge in TaToH's favor. Poxo goes in, does a little bit of damage on that wood line. But we certainly still see life from the red player, who's got a lot more food and a lot more gold in the bank. Poxo can click up, but it's a really risky thing to do. Oh my god, though, look at the spearmen. Holy shit. That is +1/+1 spearmen. And that is, what, 15 of those? Poxo saying, you up? TaToH's saying no, and he's telling the truth. TaToH is not up to castle yet. Pox here can go up very soon if he wants to, but like I said, it's a little risky. You could get steamrolled by scouts while you're transitioning to the castle age. But with this many spearmen, if he just spreads them out a bit on the map, I think Poxo is fine to defend himself. Poxo's going to keep an eye on the stone here from TaToH and the stone there as well. Interesting. Wants to know if his opponent is going to go onto those stone piles. So he'll drop a couple palisades so he can see the villagers working if they go to work. The spears are staying in a massive cluster right now. And we will see Pox click up to the castle age. His score is 400 points behind, but he is clicking up to castle first. And TaToH is going to continue to roam around with those scouts and do damage. Pox is kind of chasing with a big army. Like, he's got a ton of spears here, but he's got 0 spears in the back. TaToH's going to roam in once again. Oh, he's not going to roam in yet. I would think that TaToH will get into this back wood line again very soon, and all of these spears on the front, what is this, 15 spearmen, are just going to be useless. They need to be in the right place at the right time. Yep, looks like Pox will keep those vills alive, but he will have to continuously idle his economy to keep TaToH in check. TaToH at the moment, though, is not up. He's getting close on food and needs a bit more gold in the bank. Still roaming around with 42 scouts approximately. Maybe about maybe 35 scouts, but that's a ridiculous number. Going to start taking down buildings like lumber camps. Why not? And continuing to just roll around and keep Poxo really, really, really busy. Pox here is in a really tricky position. He's going to get up to the next stage. He's probably going to upgrade his spears a bit more, I would think. Has to keep TaToH in check. Ooh, that's a nice little bit of poking going on. Poxo able to grab down a few more of these scouts. In the end, you know, Pox is in a decent spot. He's got double stables. He can go into knights if he wants to. What's his eco look like? Yeah, he's got a ton of food and gold in the bank. Wood is really limiting for him, but if he keeps his spearmen in the right place, he's going to be able to be just fine to push TaToH away, I think. Don't quote me on that. Chain barding armor on the way, and we will see double stable knights coming for the blue player. Not going to upgrade the spears just yet, and not going to put them to work just yet. He's going to wait for TaToH to come to him, I guess. A couple more spears on the way. TaToH up by 7 vills, but it's going to be somewhat close. Well, depending on how many die, it's going to be somewhat close in villager count for Pox when he gets up. Nice quick gating here. Does seem to be closed in. Unfortunately, he's going to open the gate and stand under the gate, and TaToH's going to walk in? No, TaToH's not going to walk in. That was a trap. That was a trap, man. Those spearmen coming from behind to trap the scouts into the corner. Bloodlines with +1/+2 for Poxo, who's sending a couple of knights forward now. He's going to try to get a little more aggressive. Spearmen are still being queued up as we speak. He's defending this all-in feudal strat from TaToH pretty nicely. I say all-in, but TaToH eventually gets up to the castle age. He's going to have quite a bit of resources, question mark. Yeah, TaToH's got some resource to work with here. I think he has triple stables back at home. His 4 stables, rather, for TaToH. Has chewed through a lot of his wood, though. TaToH's map right now is not looking great for wood. Pox is going to eventually fend all of this off. Oh my god. This is like 20 scouts that just want to kill these 2 workers in the back. Pox here is actually just going to wait. He's going to get up more and more spears. Leg cav on the way, though, for TaToH, and that's going to beef these units up quite a lot. Chain barding armor on the way. Heavy plow, bowsaw. So TaToH is still going to get all of those castle upgrades, and he's going to have quite a few living light cav. In the meantime, Poxo will roam into TaToH's economy and put a little pressure on. He's going to be 7 villagers behind Mr. TaToH. At the moment, TaToH's just playing the old yo-yo game, sending a couple units in from one side and then sending the units in from the other side, keeping his opponent real busy. Poxo here has gone up to pikemen. I think that's a good choice. Hopefully those are going to be fast pikemen that can keep up with everything. Yo, Mindset Creation, thanks for the donation. Great stream, keep it up. Thank you very much for that. My apologies again that the Twitch alerts isn't working. Oh my god, TaToH got into the back wood line. While we were looking away, TaToH got in. It looks actually like Pox might have been sitting under this gate, allowed the light cav to get in, and they are just decimating this wood line. Poxo's going to lose that game. TaToH with a little bit of a troll strategy, just going super deep into scouts. But in the end, man, Pox had a chance. If this wood line didn't happen at the end, I feel like he still had a chance to get back in it. Had a TC up on that front gold. But that is GG, my friends. Welcome to the channel, those of you guys who just joined. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Much love. Bye.